Welcome to Elden Ring's new most powerful build. This is by far the strongest build anyone has found so far in the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, and by far eclipses everything else you can put together in the game so far. You will be able to kill every single boss in the DLC, and yes, that does include the final boss, within seconds. And it's using a weapon nobody thought was going to be very good. Now, a massive shout out to Cyrobe for discovering and putting this build together. He is absolutely the first person to make a video on this, and I will leave a link to his channel in the description. Now, the only reason I'm making this video is because I wanted to include how to actually get all of the pieces that make this build happen in one video, so you don't have to go off and Google a whole bunch of different things. Now, this build does require a bunch of items from the DLC, so it's actually utilizing a lot of new stuff in the game, which is great. Now, this is going to be focused around the Lightning Perfume bottle. When maxed out, this only has dexterity and faith scaling of C, but even with that, you can get your attack power up pretty high with this weapon. Now, the other key piece of this is going to be the Ash of War Rolling Sparks. When you put Rolling Sparks on the perfume bottle, it acquires the element of that specific perfume bottle. So when we use this Ash of War, we're going to get this nice lightning effect. Now, you'll notice when you use this Ash of War, it actually just continues going outward. So depending on what type of enemy you're hitting, you might not get all the hits on it. But if you actually aim to the ground when you use it, you're going to activate all of these in one spot and all at once. So it's this massive burst of damage. When you aim it out in front of you, you actually have to wait for each individual spark to fan out in front of you. But when you aim it to the ground, it's all instantaneous, and that's where the massive damage comes in. Now, what's great about this is not only is it amazing for defeating bosses, but it's also great on regular enemies as well because it does so much damage, and you can hit people from very far away with it as well. So the damage of this weapon is absolutely nothing to be scoffed at. This is definitely going to be an all-purpose build, and the damage on bosses will be par none. Now, we are also going to be taking advantage of madness in this build, which is going to drastically increase our attack power. We're going to do this by using the black Dumpling helmet, which raises your attack power when the wearer suffers from madness, which stacks with the new Talisman Aged One's Exultation, which madness in the vicinity increases our attack power. Currently, our base attack power is 1115, and what we're going to do is use Howl of Shabriri to be able to inflict ourselves with madness. Now, it's going to take 3 times to be able to actually get this full madness meter up, but once we fully proc madness on ourselves, we're now sitting at 1840 attack power. We can then stack this with a Golden Vow, which is going to increase us to 2116. And then if we use our Flask of Wondrous Physic, we increase that all the way to 2536. And in our Physic, we are using the Bloodsucking cracked tier, which is new to the DLC, and this enhances attacks at the costs of HP in mixed Physic. We're also using a new armor set called the Rashasa Armor, which increases damage dealt to foes, but it also greatly increases damage taken by the wearer. But thankfully, while playing within the DLC area, this really isn't that bad, because even with this full armor set equipped, we still have very high physical and magical damage negation, and this is because of the Shadow Tree fragments. I can't say enough how important these are. If we leave the DLC, we can see just how much lower our damage negation actually is. For our talismans, I went with the Perfumers talisman, which raises the potency of arts employing perfume, and then Shard of Alexander. Since we're mostly going to be using the Ash of War on this greatly boosts that power of that. And then we're also using Aged One's Exultation, and since I don't have a maxed out Shadow Tree blessing yet, getting the extra physical damage negation with the Dragon Crest Great Shield is pretty important. For my finger seal, I am using the Erdtree seal, although if you have the Frenzied Flame seal, you can also use that instead. Now, as far as stats go for this build, if you're rolling into the DLC right around level 150, which is recommended, I would go with at least 60 Vigor. I didn't level up my mind at all, but my base mind is level 12. You're going to want to make sure you have at least enough mind to be able to cast your incantations. I like having at least 30 endurance. Strength I left alone, my base is 10. Dexterity I put at 50. Intelligence I left alone. And faith I put at 50 as well, while also leaving arcane alone. Now let's actually get into how you get all of these items to put this build together. Now, to get the Lightning Perfume bottle, we can go from either the Cerulean Coast or the Elac River downstream. If you've never been down to this location before, you can get here from the castle front. You're going to follow this path all the way down until you get to this swampy area. Then you're going to head this way to be able to go even further down until you get to this little water area. We're going to find a cave back here that you can then run through until you get to the Elac River cave. Then you're going to follow this river all the way down this way until you get down to the Elec River downstream. And then from here, you continue down and over until you get into this area, and we need to go to this location right here. So from the Cerulean Coast, we're just going to run north. As you get into this area, you'll probably see some lightning and one crazy sheep just rolling around electrified. There's going to be a dead body at the middle of this that you can loot the lightning perfume bottle from. Now, to be able to get this Ash of War, you can either go to the Shadowkeep main gate and then go out the front of it, or you can go from the High Road Cross. But regardless, we need to get to about this location right here. As we approach this encampment, we're going to see one of those scarabs just floating up in the sky. That is holding the Ash of War that we need to get, which means we need to knock it out of the sky and kill it. There's a couple different ways you can go about knocking this thing down, but I'm just going to shoot it with the bow, which is going to make it fall out of the sky, and then we just need to run up and take it down. After killing it, you're going to get the Ash of War Rolling Sparks. Now, to be able to get the Black Dumpling hat, I've gone ahead and equipped the Silver Tier Mask, as well as the Silver Scarab, and we are now at the Guest Hall in the Volcano Manor. Inside of the Guest Hall here, there's going to be a bunch of these dudes just kind of sitting around, and you can murder these things relentlessly until they drop the Black Dumpling hat. If you let that guy scream, it's actually a little bit easier because they'll just kind of start coming running towards you. But there's a bunch of these guys in here. They all have the Black Dumpling hat on. And we're basically just going to keep murdering in this rotation until we get one. I think there's like 5, maybe 6 of them in this area. But once you murder them all, if it didn't drop, you just go back to the guest hall and repeat the process. It is a particularly low drop rate, so you might be here for a while if you're unlucky like me. But eventually, you will get the Black Dumpling hat. Now, to be able to get the Howl of Shabriri, or however you pronounce it, we're going to go from the Grand Lift of Dectus, and we need to get up to this location right here. So from the Grand Lift, we're just going to head down the stairs, and then we are going to immediately turn left. We're going to start running up this little cliffside right here, and then we're just going to keep heading up this side right here. The tower we need to go to is right there. There is madness in this location. We really don't want to get a ton of madness, so we're actually going to kind of skirt around it because there is an updraft that we can take to get up to the tower just behind here. If you do get madness, it's okay. Let's just go ahead and take this updraft. And getting this is really, really easy. All we need to do is just kind of get down into this little area here. You might need to take out the rats inside, but just climb up this ladder. And then you are going to climb up the second ladder as well, where you're going to find a chest behind you. And inside of this chest is going to be the Howl of Shabriri. Now, the last 2 pieces of this are a bit of a journey to get. We now want to get the Rashasa Armor Set and the Talisman that's going to help us boost our madness attack power even more. We're going to need to go to the Castle Watering Hole. If you haven't gotten the Castle Watering Hole yet, you can get there from the Main Gate Plaza. There is a shortcut we can unlock, but just in case you haven't done that yet, you're going to run left up these stairs ahead, and we're just going to really run past every single enemy in this area. We don't have to fight anything here. So we're going to head up these stairs. We're going to roll past this guy and the guy that sneaks out of that little hole right there. We're going to continue up these stairs all the way up to the top. And then inside of this room, there's going to be 2 enemies, one of which is going to just try and blast you with the bow. I completely forgot about that guy for a second. You can kill these to make it a little bit easier on yourself if you want, but we're just going to try and run right through here, try and avoid that guy with the bow again. And then on this area, there's going to be a bunch of little dudes that try and sneak out and stab you in the face. So we're going to try and avoid them by going on this left side here. Because there they are right there. They kind of sneak out and try and run after you. Now, if you want to unlock the shortcut, you can go down these stairs and then to the right, and that's how you unlock the shortcut. But what we're going to do is we're going to continue over this way. Right here is going to be an area where you can climb down on the left side. Now, at the bottom of this ladder, there is going to be a waterfall, and you can go behind the waterfall where you're going to find a ladder that you can climb down. You're going to want to climb down this and not jump in the hole because you're just going to die at the bottom. Now, at the bottom of the ladder, you're going to turn right into this room. There's going to be a painting here that you can pick up, and you're going to continue going right. You're going to run down these stairs, and then you're going to just continue following the water. At the very edge of this, you're going to find a coffin. You might recognize this type of thing. You're actually going to rest in the coffin, and you're going to go for a little ride. Well, unlike the previous coffin ride, there's no boss fight to be had here. If you continue forward outside of this door, you will find the Castle Watering Hole Site of Grace. Now, once at the Castle Watering Hole, you're going to run south until you get to the Recluse River upstream. You're then going to continue south along this path until you hop over this edge, and then you're going to make your way down over to the Recluse River downstream. We're first going to get the armor set, and from this Site of Grace, if we go down this little path here, there's going to be these stairs that we can kind of go down. We're going to go directly down onto the upper level of this. We want to make sure we're going above this waterfall, and we're going to hop down into this location right here. You then just need to follow this river around the corner and all the way to the end. At the end of this, you're going to find a mausoleum fight. Inside of here is what I have dubbed the most annoying boss in this entire game, who's going to drop the entire Rashasa Armor Set. After defeating this boss, you can fast travel back to the Recluse's River downstream, and then we're going to take that same steps down, except we're not going to go down onto the waterfall this time. This time what we need to do is actually go down the other side. So we need to go down this alternate path, which actually takes us below this waterfall. Once you make it down, you're going to head to the next waterfall, but instead of going towards the waterfall, we're going to go to just the left side of the waterfall, and you're going to notice another staircase that we need to take down to a lower level. So slowly and gracefully make your way down to the bottom. Then once down at the bottom, you're going to hug this left wall, and just around the corner, you're going to find this dungeon. This is the Dark Light Catacombs. We're going to need to make our way through this catacombs to be able to get to the Abyssal Woods. Now we're going to head inside of these catacombs, and we're going to take this right turn. At the bottom of the stairs, we're going to turn left, and then we're going to take another right. And we're going to head into this room right here, and we're just going to hop past all of these enemies, just going to keep running, and we're going to take this right. There's going to be that dude straight blasting around that right turn, so watch out for that. Then we're going to... These new imps are probably my most hated thing in the entire game at the moment. After dealing with that, we're going to turn left and head down these stairs. I'm just going to keep following this path until we get to another dark room. You can hop down these ladders. You don't actually need to climb them. We're going to continue forward. We're going to hop down, and then we're going to turn right. And then up ahead is going to be an enemy that walks out this door. We need to head inside of this door. We can just roll right around him. And we're just going to continue going through here, and at the bottom of this, we should find an elevator that we need to take down. Now from here, if you don't have this room lit up already, what we need to do is we just need to continue running down these stairs, and there's this kind of like central wall right here that's just ahead of us. If you run into this little nook right here, there's a ladder that you can climb up. At the top of this ladder, you're going to turn right, hop down into this little area right here, and you're going to pull this lever. Then you'll be able to drop down onto these stairs, and you're just going to continue running through this area right here. We're going to turn left and hop down this ledge, then just continue forward and hop down the next ledge. And then you're going to run left down this hallway. Just continue running past any enemies in your way if you need to. And then we're going to run into another elevator that we need to take down. Now from this area is probably going to be the most annoying part. There's going to be this big dude in here, and you need to lower him down to be able to get to the next area. So you're going to have to avoid all of his attacks. You can wait for him to start blasting, and at that point you can kind of move to the side or roll away from it. So that's the best way to deal with this guy. The problem is when you first get down here, you're going to have to run all the way down this area to be able to get to the next lever. And not being able to see him makes that a little bit more difficult to deal with as you're running away from him. There's going to be a lever right here at the end. Now, once you hit that lever, we're going to need to run back through here. Now, as you run back through here, what we need to actually do is run under this dude's legs. So we just run directly under him. And on the other side is going to be a drop down for us to be able to get to, with a chest on the other side. Inside of this is going to be the big mouth imp ashes. Then we just need to climb this ladder that's in the room. Then you just follow this hallway to the end where this dude will drop down at the edge, but you need to drop down these stairs, and you're going to run down the stairs to the right. There's going to be another elevator that's going to take us even further down. At the end of this is going to be a boss fight. This is going to be Jori, the Elder Inquisitor. After defeating, you'll get the Barbed Staff Spear. You now have access to the Abyssal Woods. All you really need to do is head from the Forsaken Graveyard, continue south until you get to the Woodland Trail, then follow the main road all the way around until you get to the church ruins. At this altar, there's also 2 Shadow Tree fragments, which apparently that's how you actually pronounce that word. Now at this point, you will need to have a shield that has the parry skill on it. I'm using the Gilded Iron Shield, and that's because you actually need to parry the monster we're about to fight to be able to deal any damage to it. It's really annoying. Now once you have your shield ready, you're going to head out of the church ruins, over this way until you get to this location right here. Once you get to this location, you're going to see this nasty little thing in the middle of this water. That is the creature we need to kill. This is probably one of the most annoying fights ever made. As you approach him, he is going to teleport. You can try and roll away from it. Sometimes you get lucky, but then he's going to charge at you. You're going to want to roll away from that if you get knocked down. Then you're going to get inflicted with badness, and he's going to charge at you anyways. But you need to get this parry at the perfect timing, and it is really, really frustrating to do. If it hits you with that main attack, it is an instant death no matter what. So definitely make sure to spend your runes before getting here, so that way you don't have to worry about them. But eventually, you will kill it and get the Aged One's Exultation. Now, to get the Perfumer's Bottle Talisman, you're going to need to go to the old map, and you're going to need to head to the Abandoned Coffin Site of Grace. From here, just head along this path until you get to the Perfumer's Ruins. Inside of the Perfumer's Ruins, you're going to run to the back, and then you're going to go up these stairs. There's going to be a big flower on the right, and there's going to be all of this wood covering this right here. You just attack the wood to break it open, and then you can run down below. Open up the door, then grab the talisman inside of the chest. Now, to be able to get the Bloodsucking cracked tier, you'll also need to go to the castle watering hole, and you'll need to kill the furnace that is right here. Now, this furnace will not actually be activated when you get into this area, and what you'll need to do is go over to the Great Bridge North and run down to this shack here. We're going to pick up a cookbook. This cookbook will allow you to make a hefty furnace pot, which you'll then need to run from this site of grace at the castle watering hole. That furnace will be lying dormant right at that door, and if you run around the left side of this, you can climb up this little ledge on the back, and then you'll need to hop across and just make your way up over to this area over here. Once here, you'll be able to craft that pot and then throw it inside of the furnace, which will activate it. You can also use this build, even without this cracked tier, to very quickly kill this furnace. Now that is everything you need to make this build work. Now go off and murder your enemies.